All right, so you've given us quite the stack of books this time, focused on habits and mindset.
Yeah, looks like someone's ready for some serious personal growth.
Uh-huh. Well, let's see what we can learn. We've got Atomic Habits, Superhuman by Habit, and Attitude is Everything. Seems like we're going to be breaking free from some bad patterns and maybe even building some new, better ones, right?
Absolutely, that's the goal, right? To understand the little things that end up shaping our lives and figure out how to take control and, well, yeah, create the kind of life you actually want.
Love it. So, should we start with Atomic Habits by James Clear?
Sure, let's dive into that.
This book is all about, like, tiny changes. You know, those 1% improvements we usually just brush off as, like, no big deal.
Right, those small things that don't seem to matter much on their own.
But Clear's point is that these tiny tweaks, if you do them consistently, can actually add up to something huge-y.
Oh, for sure. It's kind of like a ripple effect, right? One small change leading to another and another, spreading way further than you'd think.
Exactly. And he uses this awesome analogy of compound interest.
Oh, yeah, that's a good one.
Like just as small, regular savings grow into a big pile of cash over time, the idea is that even tiny habit improvements, done consistently, have this massive impact on your life in the long run.
Makes sense, but that consistent part is always the trick, isn't it? We've all started with great intentions and then, poof, gone by week 2. How do we make those changes actually stick?
Well, that's where his 4 laws of behavior change come in. It's like a framework, almost.
Okay, lay it on me.
So it's about making the habit obvious, attractive, easy, and satisfying.
So no crazy life overhauls, just small steps you can actually manage. Feels a lot less intimidating than like those New Year's resolutions we all give up on by February.
Way less intimidating, yeah. And there's this cool trick he talks about called habit stacking.
What's that?
Basically, you link a new habit to one you already do, which for some reason makes it easier to stick to.
Interesting. So like, I don't know, wanting to read more but never finding the time.
Exactly. So instead of trying to block off hours, you just add it to, say, your morning coffee routine. Coffee, read a few pages, done.
Huh, I've actually tried that and it worked. It's almost like tricking your brain into a new habit without like making it a chore.
Totally. So Clear gives us this framework, right? But then there's Superhuman by Habit by Tynan, which seems more, I don't know, practical, like just get it done kind of vibe.
Oh yeah, Tynan's all about efficiency and action, no fluff.
So what's his take on building these like super strong habits?
Well, his core idea is that discipline, which we often think of as a negative thing, is actually the key to freedom.
Wait, more discipline equals more freedom. How does that work?
Seems counterintuitive, but think about it. How much mental energy do we waste debating with ourselves? Should I snooze? What should I eat? Gym or no gym? It's exhausting.
It really is.
But if you have solid routines for those things, no more decisions, no more drain, suddenly you've got all this energy for stuff that matters, creative stuff, problem solving, actually pursuing your passions.
Oh, that's interesting. It's like cleaning up all the mental clutter to make space for like the good stuff.
Exactly. It's about making those good choices automatic so you don't even have to think about them.
But willpower isn't exactly unlimited, right? How do we make those routines stick when inevitably we just don't feel like it?
Tynan is all about systems.
Systems.
Yeah, think about ways to automate those good habits, make them almost effortless. Instead of willpower to hit the gym, what if you pack your bag the night before and have a friend who'll drag you out no matter what?
Makes sense. It's like building like a support system for your habits.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So you're not relying on willpower alone, which we all know can be pretty unreliable.
Totally. And then there's this thing Tynan talks about, starting small, right? I read something about flossing just one tooth, which sounds kind of ridiculous. Is there like a method to that madness?
Oh, absolutely. Classic Tynan, right? Practical to the point of absurdity.
Yeah.
But his point is, to build any habit, you got to make that first step so tiny, so easy that it's almost impossible not to do it.
Okay, so even if it's something as silly as one tooth, it's about proving you can follow through,
Yeah.
even in the smallest way.
Exactly. It's about building that momentum, building that belief in yourself.
So it's not really about the flossing itself, it's about that mental shift.
It's about showing yourself, hey, I can do this. And that's where the real magic happens.
I love that.
It's not about the task, it's about the mindset shift.
Okay, so we've got the tiny changes from Clear, the systems approach from Tynan,
Right.
but then there's Attitude is Everything by Jeff Keller, and that brings in a whole new dimension, the power of mindset. Now, sometimes that think positive stuff can feel a little too simplistic,
I
No.
get it. It can sound kind of cheesy.
But I'm definitely open to hearing what Keller has to say.
Yeah, me too.
Hmm.
I mean, Keller's not saying we should just slap on a fake smile and pretend everything's perfect.
Right?
It's much deeper than that. It's about making a choice, you know?
Mhm.
Choosing to approach life with a more positive, resilient outlook.
So recognizing that our thoughts actually have a real impact on our experiences.
Exactly. He argues that our thoughts and beliefs actually shape our reality. Like they affect our feelings, our actions, and ultimately what happens in our lives.
Okay, so it's not just about feeling good. It's about understanding the power our thoughts have.
Yeah.
But how do you actually put that into practice?
Well, Keller talks about this think, speak, act cycle.
Think, speak, act.
Yeah, so the idea is if you consciously choose to think positive thoughts,
Okay.
then that influences what you say and what you do.
Mhm.
And then those actions create the results you get in life. So it's like a positive feedback loop.
Interesting. So more positive outlook, more positive actions, better results, which then reinforces that positive outlook.
Exactly. And he gives some really practical advice on how to cultivate that positivity.
Like what?
Well, one big thing is reframing setbacks as learning experiences. Instead of seeing no as a rejection, you see it as valuable feedback.
Okay, so it's not about denying the tough stuff. It's about learning to deal with it in a way that helps you move forward.
Exactly. It's way more realistic than trying to force yourself to be happy all the time.
I like that.
He also talks about surrounding yourself with positive influences. People, books, whatever lifts you up.
Create that supportive environment.
Right, an environment that encourages growth and helps you stay focused on the good, even when things get tough.
So we've got Claire showing us how habits compound, Tynan giving us the tools to actually build them,
Right.
and Keller emphasizing that mindset piece, that fuel for the whole process. I'm really seeing how these books all fit together now.
They really do complement each other, don't they? Like pieces of a puzzle.
Totally.
Yeah.
But how do you see them fitting together? What's the bigger picture here?
Well, Atomic Habits lays the groundwork, right? It explains how habits work, those tiny changes that have a big impact over time. It's like the science behind the transformation.
The science, yeah, I like that.
Then you've got Superhuman by Habit, which gives you the practical stuff, the strategies to actually build those habits, automate routines, and not rely on willpower. It's like the instruction manual.
So the science and then the instruction manual.
Exactly. And then attitude is everything adds that crucial mindset piece. It reminds you that your thoughts shape your reality and that being positive is key to facing challenges and ultimately succeeding. It's like the fuel for the whole thing.
That's a great analogy. You need all three working together, right? The science, the strategy, and the mindset.
Absolutely. It's not enough to just know how habits work. You have to have the tools to implement them. But even with the best tools, a negative mindset can totally sabotage you.
It's all connected. Okay, so for you listening, what does this all mean for your own life and goals?
Yeah, these books offer a ton of information, but you got to decide what resonates with you, how you can use it.
Right. What speaks to you?
Maybe you're inspired by Clear's 1% rule and want to find one tiny habit to improve every day.
Or maybe Tynan's discipline equals freedom makes you want to build more structure, free up some mental space.
Or maybe it's Keller's focus on positivity that motivates you to change your thinking, to face challenges with more, I don't know, optimism.
There's no right answer, right?
Yeah.
It's about finding what works for you, experimenting, and being patient because change takes time and effort.
For sure. But even those small steps, done consistently, can lead to big changes.
And don't forget the power of mindset. Believing in yourself, your ability to change, that can be super powerful. Like Keller says, attitude is everything. But here's a thought. What if we take it a step further?
Taking it further, I like it.
We've talked about individual habits, but what about like cultivating a mindset of continuous improvement, always looking for those 1% gains in every area of your life?
That's a powerful idea. It's like a growth mindset, not just for certain skills, but for life itself.
Exactly. Embracing challenges, seeking feedback, always learning and growing. It's about more than just good habits. It's about shaping your potential.
That's a great way to put it. Shaping your potential.
And it ties back to that idea of discipline equaling freedom, right?
Yeah.
The more we work on this continuous improvement mindset,
Right.
the more we break free from limitations, the more possibilities open up.
It's about becoming the architect of your own life. Designing the habits, the routines, the mindset that'll help you achieve your goals and live a truly fulfilling life.
I love that, the architect of your own life. This deep dive has been so eye-opening.
It has. We've gone from tiny habits to systems and routines to the power of mindset. Like we've built a whole toolbox for personal growth.
The toolbox.
And the best part is this toolbox is always evolving.
Yeah.
You learn and grow, you discover new tools and techniques that work best for you. It's a journey.
Speaking of journeys, I have one final question for you listening.
Okay, hit me.
We've talked about the impact of small habits and a positive outlook.
Mhm.
But what if we boil it down? What one small habit, combined with that positive outlook, could have the biggest impact on your life in the coming year?
That's a great question to think about.
It could be about your health, relationships, career, personal growth, anything really.
The key is to find that one small change that over time can create a ripple effect, a wave of positive change through your whole life.
And remember, it's not just about the action. It's about approaching it with a positive mindset. That belief that you can make the change and stick with it. It's about doing A&D believing.
Beautifully said.
So keep exploring these ideas, experiment, and never underestimate the power of small, consistent changes.
And remember, the journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step and a positive attitude.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's about building that confidence, that belief that you can actually make changes and stick with them. And once you've got that going, well, you can start applying those same principles to other parts of your life.
So we're not just talking about like flossing or cleaning our desks. We're talking about a whole new way of tackling challenges.
Absolutely. It's about a growth mindset, not just for specific skills, but for life in general. Embracing challenges as opportunities to learn, seeking feedback even when it's uncomfortable.
Always growing, always evolving.
Exactly. Okay, so we've got clear with those small changes, tying in with the systems approach, but then we have Attitude is Everything by Jeff Keller. And that brings in a whole other element, right? The power of mindset.
Yeah, and I got to admit, sometimes the whole think positive thing can feel a bit, I don't know, oversimplified.
I get it. It can sound kind of cheesy sometimes.
But I'm curious to hear what Keller has to say.
Me too. And to be fair to Keller, he's not just saying slap on a smile and pretend everything's perfect.
Right, it's got to be deeper than that.
It's about a conscious choice, approaching life with a more, I guess you could say, positive and resilient outlook.
So recognizing that our thoughts actually shape our experiences.
Exactly. He argues that our thoughts and beliefs actually have a huge impact on our reality. They affect our feelings, our actions, and ultimately our outcomes.
Okay, so it's not just about feeling good. It's about recognizing the power of our thoughts. But how do you actually put that into practice?
Well, he talks about this think, speak, act cycle.
The think, speak, act cycle.
Yeah, so the idea is that if you consciously choose to think positive thoughts,
Okay.
it influences what you say and what you do. And then those actions, well, they create the results you see in your life. It's like this upward spiral of positivity.
So more positive thoughts lead to more positive actions, better results, which then reinforces that positive mindset.
Precisely. And he offers some really practical advice on how to cultivate that positivity.
Like what?
Well, one big thing is reframing setbacks, seeing them as opportunities to learn and grow. Instead of seeing no as a rejection, you see it as like valuable feedback.
So it's not about pretending everything's perfect. It's about learning to handle the tough stuff in a way that helps you move forward.
Exactly. It's way more realistic than trying to force yourself to be happy all the time.
I like that. It feels more sustainable,
He also talks about surrounding yourself with positive influences. People, books, podcasts, whatever lifts you up.
Create that supportive environment.
Right, an environment that helps you grow and stay focused on the good, even when things are tough.
So we have Clear showing us how those small habits work, Tynan giving us the tools to actually build them,
Right.
and Keller bringing in the mindset piece, that fuel for the whole process. I'm really seeing how these books connect now.
They do, don't they? They complement each other beautifully.
But how do you see them fitting together? What's the bigger picture here?
Well, Atomic Habits lays the foundation, right? It explains how habits work, how those tiny changes become big things over time. It's like the science behind personal transformation.
The science of it all.
Exactly. And then you have Superhuman by Habit, which is all about the practical side, the strategies to build those habits, automate your routines, and move past that reliance on willpower.
Yeah.
It's like the instruction manual.
So the science and then the how-to guide.
Right. And then Attitude is Everything adds that crucial mindset component. It reminds you that your thoughts shape your reality and that being positive is essential for navigating challenges and ultimately succeeding. It's like the fuel that powers the entire process.
I love that analogy. You need all three, right? The science, the strategy, and the mindset.
Absolutely. It's not enough to just understand how habits work. You need the tools to put them into practice. But even with the best tools, a negative mindset can sabotage you.
It's all connected. So for everyone listening, how does all this apply to your own life, your own goals?
These books offer a lot, but it's up to you to figure out what resonates with you, how you can use it.
What speaks to you?
Maybe Clear's 1% rule inspires you to find one tiny habit to improve each day.
Maybe it's Tynan's discipline equals freedom that
There's
makes you want to create more structure, free up some mental energy.
Or maybe it's Keller's focus on positivity that motivates you to change your thinking, to approach challenges with a more optimistic outlook.
No right or wrong answer. It's about finding what works for you, experimenting a little, and being patient with yourself. Change takes time and effort.
Definitely. But even those baby steps, if you do them consistently, can lead to big changes.
And don't underestimate the power of mindset. That belief in yourself, your ability to change, that's huge.
Yeah.
Like Keller says, attitude is everything.
Hmm.
But here's something to think about. What if we take it a step further?
Taking it a step further, huh? I like where this is going.
We've talked about individual habits,
Hmm.
but what about cultivating a mindset of continuous improvement? Always looking for those 1% gains, but in every area of your life.
Oh, that's a powerful idea. It's like a growth mindset, not just for certain skills, but for life itself.
Exactly. Embracing challenges, seeking feedback, always learning and growing. It's about more than just building good habits. It's about shaping your potential.
Shaping your potential. That's a great way to put it.
And it comes back to that idea that discipline equals freedom, right? The more we work on this continuous improvement mindset, the more we break free from our limitations and open up new possibilities.
Yeah, it's about becoming like the architect of your own life, consciously designing the habits and routines and mindset that will help you reach your goals.
I love that. Designing a life you love. It's amazing how much we've covered in this deep dive.
It has been pretty comprehensive, hasn't it?
We started with the science of tiny habits, then moved to systems and routines, and ended up exploring the power of mindset.
It's like we've assembled this incredible toolbox for personal growth, right?
Totally a toolbox. And what's even cooler is that this toolbox isn't static. It's always growing and evolving as we do.
Right. As you learn and grow, you discover new tools, new techniques that work for you. It's a continuous process.
And speaking of that, I have one final thought-provoking question for you all listening.
Okay, let's hear it.
We've talked about the huge impact of small habits and a positive mindset. But what if we take it a step further? What if you had to choose just one small habit combined with that positive outlook that could have the biggest impact on your life this coming year?
Wow, that's a powerful question.
It really makes you think, right?
Yeah, it could be something related to health, your relationships, your career, your personal growth, anything really.
The point is, it's about finding that one small change that over time creates a ripple effect of positive change throughout your whole life.
It's about focusing your energy on the thing that will make the most difference.
And remember, it's not just about doing the thing, it's about approaching it with that belief, that confidence that you can make the change and stick with it.
It's both doing and believing, like you said earlier.
Exactly. Well, we hope this deep dive has given you some valuable insights, some inspiration to cultivate those positive habits, that growth mindset.
And ultimately, a more fulfilling life, right?
Absolutely. So
Well-
keep exploring these ideas, experiment with what resonates with you, and never underestimate the power of small changes consistently applied.
Like they say, the journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step.
And a positive attitude.
Couldn't have said it better myself.